better know. As I said, the story goes. Baby, now I got the flow. Cause I knew it from the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I win. Your love to me. All those times I said that I love you. Your love to me. Yes, I tried. Yes, I tried. Your love to me. Even though you knew I died for you. Your love to me. Yes, I cried. Yes, I cried. Return to me. Return to me. Come on. Return to me. Oh my God. Here I am. Return to me. Once again. Return to me. Top of the world. Return to me. Watch my phone. Here I go. So I'm back up in the days. Running things to take my swing. Let it all be known.
Just one more time. I think we got it set up this time. Last week I did a very awkward, just like one take, fucking 3 picks and got in and out quickly. I'm here with my boy Brian. We're talking Michigan this week. Real quick before we hop into Michigan though, what's your opinion on what Austin Dillon did last week?
Well, I mean, it's a product of the point system, right? So win, get in. So he sent it. He did what he had to do. Was it dirty? Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. But
That was crazy, dude. That was fucking.
it was bananas.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, if someone has to do what he had to do this week, it'll be interesting to see how morals are tested.
Yeah. Do you think now NASCAR came down on Wednesday and said you're not in the fucking playoffs? What do you think of that call? Probably the dirt. We've already said it. Probably the dirtiest fucking move that anyone's ever seen in their lives. Like really did put Joey like from about 2 football fields back. Put him into the wall. Didn't even fucking break. It wasn't even breaking coming into the turn at all. That was dirty in itself. And then to turn left and just clip Hamlin and put him into the wall. Like I've never seen anything like it. But do you think he should be in the playoffs for that?
No. I mean, I think the precedent had been set. Bubba got suspended for a right rear turn.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott's been suspended for a right rear turn.
Yep.
So I think the precedent's been set. I think Lane Riggs down in the Truck Series got suspended for one. So the precedent's been set. You can't right rear someone. I think if he had just done the Joey Logano thing, no one would have.
I think so too.
Penalties would have happened, but
yeah,
when you right rear someone into the wall, that it becomes dangerous at that point.
Right.
So, you listen to Denny Hamlin's podcast and all these other drivers, and everyone in the garage thought it was a shitty move, and it was. So
even Logano, who's literally done that to somebody before, was like, "I would never do that." I'm like, "Get the fuck! You did it like a year ago. Calm down over there off your fucking high horse." I think you're right, though. The real move that gets you into trouble and takes you out of the playoffs is like Hamlin is not a part of this crash at all. He's down the track from you. Like he's just taking advantage because you fucking got into Logano. You can't turn left, dude. You cannot clip him for that. Like he's just he's not even involved in the situation. As soon as you do that, you can't be in the playoffs. I mean, I had no idea that it had been 2 years since Austin Dillon had won a fucking race. And then I remember the last time he won, I actually got absolutely butt fucked on that call because it was the big fucking wreck, right? I'm pretty sure I had who was in first and second. And then we get the big one at fucking either Daytona or Talladega. What track was it? Was it?
I think it was Daytona.
Okay.
I mean,
we hit the big one there, and he's the only car that fucking ekes through. And I'm like, fucking, this is how this kid wins. But I think we can both agree. Probably his last win, I would assume. I don't think he's going to be racing that much longer. He's been god awful. He gets the fucking because we got rained out at qualifying yesterday at Michigan, he gets to start 10th. I can't imagine that he is going to stay 10th for that long.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
If Logano's having a bad fucking race, he's gonna fucking take him out. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, if Joey's having a bad day, he's just gonna fucking take him out.
Yeah, I feel like well, I think the penalties help. So if they let it stand, Joey would have gone out for blood. I think the penalties definitely help. But yeah, I mean, his interview was hilarious. He was like, I think just yesterday he said it's like watching yourself get robbed, and then you drive down pit road and you see the person who robbed you celebrate with all your stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the perfect analogy, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to be steamed up. So Michigan, man, it's we have the high horsepower package at Michigan. So if he does turn them, it's going to hurt.
Oh yeah.
These guys are going at higher speeds. I would expect Joey to hopefully be a little bit more level-headed and maybe not use Michigan as his revenge race.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's Bristol that's coming up. I can definitely see that happening. You know, so
we can both agree though, it's going down. Like,
it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Joey's going to turn him. It's going to be bad. It's going to fucking happen. I don't care what anyone says. He is vindictive as fuck. Ever since he got his hair back, he's been a completely different guy. All right? He's fucking vindictive. He's coming for fucking blood. Logano should have won that race, in my opinion, just based off of strategy. Him and Paul Wolf, what a fucking pairing, dude. Like, those motherfuckers are always in the right place at the right time, and they're just good. You kind of have to give it to them. Now, do you think Logano factors into this race? Because I don't think he does really. I think he's a top 15 car maybe, and that's probably it.
I think that's fair. I mean, Ford's won the last 9 races at Michigan. So
I love that. Very interesting.
If we look at the last 9 races, Ford's just dominated here. So Logano's won at least once, if not twice. Buescher won last year, which he probably shouldn't have won, but he did. And then before this recent Ford run, we had I think a 3-peat from Larson at Michigan. So you kind of look at the players and who's going to be involved. You look at the track. So Michigan's wide open. So it's a really wide track. It's a driver's track. So you see these really skillful, the best of the best generally drive well here. So you're looking at Larson, Hamlin, Logano's had success, Buescher's had success, Blaney's had success here. So I think those are the types of plays that you're going to be looking at. Martin Truex Jr. in practice was super fast, and he probably had the fastest car last year. It's going to be he's the guy that I'm looking at this week is Martin Truex Jr. I think he's got a good chance to win this week.
You know what? I love that you said it. I have a tiny play on him. I think I got him at plus 950, and that was before practice, or obviously qualifying got washed out. One thing that concerns me, I know he's going to be fast. The one thing that concerns me, all these engines blowing up. I'm not a fan, obviously. A little concerned that this is going to be I don't know. I feel like he's just had the worst luck. I feel like he's had the worst luck this season. And I mean, going into last season, like, the guy just can't catch a fucking break. I do think that this is his last chance to get into the playoffs. I don't see him doing anything at a super speedway. Just not his bag, really.
No,
I don't, maybe Darlington, but I feel like kind of a Ford track, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I feel like this is the last chance. And if you got Bell in already, you got Hamlin in already, I would assume maybe JGR is throwing a little bit of extra fucking money towards Truex to get him in the playoffs, right? I mean, that's got to be – you got to be focused on getting the 19 in. If he can get in, he's live as fuck to win. Like, he's a driver that if he puts it together – I mean, we saw even last year, like, he went on a fucking run for a little while there. He was coming in hot to those playoffs and then just had the worst luck ever. I think if he catches a couple setups, you might be looking at a fucking – I don't know, man. I think that he's definitely live today. Another driver you mentioned, Larson, Hamlin. I mean, you gotta be looking out for those two. They're live in every race. I feel like I'm liking the Hamlin side a little bit more than the Larson side, just because of going off the last. I mean, Hamlin last 6 races here, top 6 every fucking time. Like, the guy, the results speak for themselves. He's also led like 290 laps the last fucking 4 or 5, 6 races, something like that. I think he's kind of due for a win. I mean, I feel like he's kind of due for it too. Do you think Toyota is plus 130 to win? Do you like that?
I'd sprinkle a little bit on it. I mean, of course, I like Truex this week to win. So I'd sprinkle a little bit on it. I'd probably be more of the opinion to put the money just on Truex instead of on Toyota to get a little bit better odds.
Gotcha.
Ford itself winning 9 straight here has me backing off with just a tiny bit. So let's look at the Ford camp. So you have Logano, you have Blaney, Buescher, Keselowski. That's pretty much it, right? So I don't see Cindric doing too much or any of the SHR drivers. So
I don't remember Cindric if he's on the track half the time. To be quite honest with you, that was okay. 1 second, let's take a little detour real quick. Is that the most surprising kind of bust that we've had in the last couple of years? I feel like in Xfinity, he was top 3, like, all the time. And I know it's because he was driving a well-funded car and all that shit. I get that. But clearly talented at driving, I would say. I mean, you got to, at a certain point, you have to have talent to win some of these races. Is that not surprising to you that he comes in and he's kind of just like a fucking shit show? Like, I mean, how many races has he won since he's gotten to the top series? Like 2?
Well, he won the 500 that one year, but
Yeah.
I mean, Cindric itself is, I mean, he's just kind of there, right? He's kind of a impact driver. Same can be said about Harrison Burton, right? So Harrison Burton came.
He's gone though.
He doesn't have a ride next year, so
and he shouldn't. By the way, he's been god awful. He's been fucking terrible. I thought it was a questionable call to bring him up anyways, by the way. Didn't think he was ready. Probably should have stuck in Xfinity for a couple more years at least.
So Barry's going to move to 21 next year, which I think is probably a really good move. But Barry's been looking – I mean, in the equipment that he has, I feel like he's overperformed. So that'll be very interesting to see how that all shakes out. And I don't know what the future of Cindric is. Obviously, the Cindric name, his daddy is well connected within Penske, so
he'll stick there. He'll stick there. He can't go anywhere else. The biggest thing is, like, if Austin Dillon can fucking hold a ride this long just based off of his fucking name, like, Cindric he'll be in a car. He won this year. It's not like you can't justify it. It's fine. He's not going to be the guy that's going to win you a championship. If he can win 1 race a year, fantastic. I hate to see that fucking 2-car underperform the way it has. But when you look at Ford in general, and we talked about Toyota drivers, we talked about Larson, I think being probably the top Chevy driver to have a shot here. Blaney. He's got to be fucking live here, right? Because when the Fords are fast, I feel like Blaney is the fastest.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the beginning of the season, Penske struggled with the new car. It looked like RFK, Keselowski and Buescher had by far the fastest Fords. I think
Yeah.
I think Penske's caught back up over the course of the season. So I think Blaney's live. I think Busher is probably still live. I think those two are probably the fastest two Fords this weekend. And then, man, Chevy, obviously Larson's probably going to be good. Chase Elliott's probably going to be good. And then you have, surprisingly, Byron has done really well at this track. And if you look at practice speeds, the two underdog drivers I've been looking at just from practice speeds are Hemrick and Allmendinger. So Colleague Racing, it appears, have brought two fast cars to this track. And that's a play that I'd probably look at matchups. So if you see a good matchup with Hemrick or Allmendinger in it, just know their practice speeds probably justify throwing some cash on it.
Okay. Do you have questions, though? Because qualifying is washed out, we didn't get to really see anything. We didn't really have that many laps on practice, I don't think either. Do you have questions with how people are going to pass here? Because if you're not strong on that bottom groove, you're not going to be able to pass anywhere. So you have to, if it's just a single lane, like it's a one groove track, right? Like you got to be able to pass on the bottom, obviously, but for the most part, you're up towards the top of the wall, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday's race kind of showed that it's really difficult to pass. Allgaier had a lot of trouble passing.
Yeah.
And he by far had the fastest car.
Right.
He ended up making two passes on the outside very late to win the race, which was incredibly impressive. So I think if you're on the outside, you got to pin the guy down to the paint and make them lift. And if you're on the inside, you have to drive it in as hard as you can, and hopefully it sticks. So I think it's going to be one of those races where you might see some, especially on these restarts. That's where you're going to be able to make up positions, and once the field gets strung out, it's going to be hard to pass. So I think the restarts are going to be crazy because people are going to be like, well, we're all grouped up. Let me get like 3 or 4 positions here.
Yep.
So cautions breed cautions, and I think there's going to be some cautions today. Now, normally Michigan historically has been a fuel mileage track.
Yeah.
So once these cars kind of get strung out, then it becomes a fuel mileage race. Okay, how can I save fuel and get to the end? And kind of like how the Xfinity race was yesterday, it became a fuel mileage race until that last caution. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But I think we've identified the players. I think, like I said, Hemrick, Allmendinger, I think are two underdogs that I'd put on some cards, and we'll kind of see how it goes. I think this is going to be a good race. Last year's race was pretty good, so I expect the same this year.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Now, when we talk fucking fuel mileage races, it's not the most exciting thing. Let's put it that way. You talk like this is a driver's track. Yeah, you're basically running wide the fuck open around the entire thing. So I get that. I'm not pumped. I feel like if there's any week to have a couple sets of option tires, like maybe this is the week so we can fucking burn them down a little bit and get some fucking tire changes and shit. Realistically, though, when it comes to fuel mileage, I'm looking at older veteran drivers. I'm looking at guys that know how to manage fuel. Like, immediately, I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for the Logano take because, like, if I'm thinking fuel management, I'm thinking strategy. My mind immediately goes to Logano. So now I'm looking Logano, Blaney. I like a Ford win. That's a plus 180 fucking ticket if you like Ford here. Toyota's favorite. Like, they're fucking plus 130. Chevy's nice plus 240. Like, that, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot fucking pole. I think when we look at fucking Ford, well, let's actually look at Toyota a little bit. When we look at Toyota, I think the most consistent driver this season in general, who's not really getting that much talk about him at all, I mean, it's got to be Reddick, right? Like, what do you expect from Reddick here? I mean, it looks like, I mean, I feel like you could turn him loose at any type of track and the guy's getting the top 3. Like, I don't understand how he keeps fucking doing it, but I mean, this guy's live for a championship this year. Am I wrong? Like, he's got to be live as fuck. He's like plus 1,800 right now.
He's super hot. So obviously I don't know if you know this or not. So one of Reddick's mentors died this weekend.
Oh shit.
In a plane crash. He was I think a sprint car racer. So who knows how that affects him? But man, has Reddick been hot the last couple of weeks? Yes, he's been outstanding. Same with kind of Christopher Bell. So Christopher Bell, he's been running right up there in the front. Toyota has an incredible stable. So if you just look at the JGR cars, Hamlin's always in the front. Truex has speed. Christopher Bell looks like the real deal. I mean, Gibbs is fighting for a playoff spot. Reddick and Bubba Wallace. I mean, Wallace could be in the playoff spot too.
You mentioned him. I'm gonna let's talk about him real quick too. Has he been like your most surprising driver this year? I feel like, again, along with Reddick, like that 23XI team is like, they've gotten it so good. Like, they're together now. They're fucking like, they're live to win every week now, in my opinion. I really think that like it's all shaping up. I have a small play because Bubba was plus 2,800. Okay, prior to everything this week, I got a small play on him to win. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think he's live as fuck to win. Okay, if we're talking just past performance real quick, the last couple races, he's been in it, dude, and he hasn't beaten himself, and that's what we always talked about with him. He has the funding. Like, the kid's driving probably one of the most well-funded cars in the fucking series, if not the most well-funded car in the series. They fucking, how much money does that team like get? Like, it's got to be fucking absurd, just based off of the sponsorships alone. Like, he's got to be. I mean, I have him top 10 this week. I had him top 10 last week. I think a top 10 for him this week is completely doable. I really love that fucking play. I'm going to play that play until they fucking take it out of fucking, playable territory. I got it at plus 100 this week. I thought that was a steal, in my opinion. All the way up to like $125, I'd take it. I think he fucking gets top 10 this week. I think he's been one of the more consistent fucking drivers. And again, along with Reddick, these two are live for a win. Reddick has been top 3. I mean, almost in every race, in my opinion. Like, in my mental, I can think of him in top 3 at almost every fucking race. He's got to be live this week too, right?
Yeah, I would imagine that Reddick is. I would feel much more comfortable with a Reddick ticket than a Bubba Wallace ticket, but. Wallace has definitely improved his. I mean, I think the knock on him coming in was that he was really good at restrictor plate racing. Short tracks and intermediates weren't necessarily his thing, and he was god awful at road courses.
Yeah.
So the road course, I think the last couple road courses he's done fairly admirably, and the oval package has looked a lot better. So, Bubba Wallace, it's going to be tight to get the last spot in the playoffs. So
he needs a win. In my opinion, he needs a fucking win. I think
he needs a win. Busher needs a win. There's a couple of really good drivers that are kind of right on the edge.
So, along with Hemrick, along with Allmendinger, I'm thinking maybe a Busher matchup ticket, maybe possibly in there as well. We're talking about guys that need wins that maybe – I mean, I still think Wallace is live at a super speedway. I think he's shown himself to be one of the more consistent guys to race on a super speedway. Can kind of always count on him to be in the top 10 at a super speedway, surprisingly. For a guy that said he hates super speedway racing in the beginning, like, he has completely turned it. And you're right, he has been way better on road courses. I mean, he was almost like a perma fade when we first started talking and betting NASCAR together, I mean, how many weeks did we permafade fucking Bubba?
Yeah,
Like, it was every fucking week, and it always hit. And then I've noticed the last couple of seasons, the tide has kind of started to turn.
We started losing money.
Yeah, exactly, because I've been losing more money on the motherfucker. So I just decided to join the dark side, and I'm on him until he fucks me over. I'm just on him. It's gonna happen. I like a top 10 on him. I think the way we're looking right now, I might give me the fucking Ford to win the race at plus 180. I'll put a little taste on that. And then I'll just pick off, give me Truex to win. I think Truex is live here, and I think JGR wants 3 cars in these fucking playoffs. If they can sneak in Gibbs, fantastic, but I just don't think he's there yet when it comes to, for a guy that was so aggressive in every race that I watched him race at, especially in Xfinity. I mean, the guy would turn his own teammate to fucking win. Like, for a guy that like came in with kind of a bad rap, like, I feel like he's flown under the radar and he's turned out a pretty consistent season again. I feel like the wins will eventually come. Especially when Hamlin eventually takes the fucking, the third ride at 23XI and then there's an open 11 for Gibbs or whatever the fuck. I feel like eventually Gibbs is going to be a winning race car driver. I just don't think it's going to be this season. I don't know if he makes the playoffs. I think that we still got to go to Daytona next week, right?
Yep.
I think we're going to get like a random fucking dude that just, I mean, hopefully it's not Austin Dillon, but I think a random dude fucking gets in there. And I like still think, yeah, dude, I'll take Stenhouse all day over fucking Austin Dillon. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I think the smart money, and you saw, because Truex went from like plus 850 to plus 580, and he starts 24th today. So I think you saw that maybe there's a little extra speed in that fucking 19 this week. He needs a fucking win. The guy's going to retire. Like, get him to the fucking promised land a little bit. Favorites for me, it's got to be Hamlin, got to be fucking Truex. Who do you like out of the Ford racers? Do you like Buescher or Blaney better?
Practice speeds, his recent history, I like Buescher. Okay. But I mean, it's close. So on a matchup versus Blaney and Buescher, I'd lean Buescher, but I'm not confident enough to put my own cash on it.
Okay, understood. All right, give me a dark horse that you think might be able to, like, give me a dark horse that you think has an outside shot of winning this week.
Oh, outside chance of winning, dark horse. I was going to say a top 10 pick would be Carson Hocevar.
Oh, okay. What's the fucking number on that? That's got to be juicy.
I don't know, but have you not been surprised that he's been able to stay in the top 15 the last couple of weeks?
In the fucking Spire-mobile, too, on top of it. I have been shocked, but, like, the only thing that worries me about his future is that everyone fucking hates the kid. Like, everyone fucking hates him. So if he ever fucking turns into something, he's going to get wrecked every fucking week, and nobody's going to say anything about it. It has been shocking. Like, I think single-handedly got fucking LaJoie fired. Like, I think LaJoie doesn't have a ride next year because Hocevar has turned into such a competitive racer that Spire they got to get him somebody that can fucking match his speed too and be a successful racer. Hocevar's fantastic, man. How many top 20s this year? I mean, he's got to be like almost every fucking race, right?
Yeah, and they'll add McDowell next year. So Hocevar,
what a pickup that is by them.
And they will pick up Rodney Childress from SHR to be I don't know which crew chief it's going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be McDowell's crew chief. But,
got to be, right?
Yeah, you have one of the best crew chiefs in the garage over at Spire. I believe that.
They're spending money though. I mean, how much money are those motherfuckers spending? Like, I think McDowell is. I will always love McDowell. Little fucking backstory on me loving McDowell. I took him plus 3,500 to win the Daytona the year he won the Daytona. And it was like one of my first couple fucking NASCAR bets. And I bet $50. I won like close to 700. I will always love McDowell just for that reason. I will never not love him for that. Like the guy, I think if he's in consistent equipment, I think he can compete like week in and week out. He's strong on road courses. He's strong on super speedways. He's a good race car driver. If he's got the equipment, you might see him win a couple of times. And if Spire's going to spend as much as they're fucking spending, like, they're going to compete, dude. They're going to be, and Hocevar is already fucking there. I mean, he's the talent is there. Like, how many fucking guys drove a Spire mobile to a fucking top 15 in the last 5 years? You know what I mean? Like, not many, right? Like, outside of a super speedway, it wasn't going to fucking happen. So I've been very impressed with him. So you like him for an outside shot at the top 10?
I do.
Okay, I like that. What about Hemrick? What about Allmendinger, since you mentioned him earlier?
So both really fast. I think Allmendinger was top 10 in speed. Hemrick was top 14 or 15 in speed in practice. So definitely outside of what we have normally experienced with colleague racing, at least in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
The question is, can they get to the end? I feel probably more confident in Allmendinger getting to the end than Hemrick. But it's one of those matchups when you start looking at like low card matchups where you get like a Harrison Burton versus a Hemrick or Noah
which is a perma Hemrick bet, right? Like we got to fucking unload at that. If that's on the board, we got to unload on that.
Or like a Noah Gregson versus a Hemrick or an Allmendinger. You know, those are the types of matchups that, you know, we are looking at to say it's very easy to say, okay, well, Larson or Hamlin, you know, and that's basically a coin flip, right?
Yeah.
When you start going down deeper into some of these odds and some of these matchups, that's where you get the real value. So I think we threw out the Hocevar pick last week against Eric Jones, which hit. So that's one of those value picks that you're looking at. Not necessarily top tier drivers. We're looking at mid pack and trying to assess value based off of one, history of how they've done, and two, kind of how they performed the week leading up to it. So practice speeds, qualifying speeds, and so forth. So that's kind of the way we think about these picks, especially when we get to mid cards.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we've probably talked all we can about this racetrack. You already know where I'm going. It's a Wallace top 10 ticket. I think that's the ticket to fucking take us to the cashier window, hopefully here. Where are you going for your best play?
I'm going to go with so I have a couple.
Okay.
I have a Buescher top 5 pick. I have a Byron top 10 pick. And I have a Hocevar lottery ticket top 10 pick are my 3 picks.
Damn, a lot of top 10s, a little bit of top 5 sprinkled in there.
Yep.
Would you get that Buescher top 5 ticket at? What's the nice? I bet that's like in the 2s. That's got to be in the 2s.
I think. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I was looking at this right before we logged on. I think it was like 180.
Oh, that's a nice little ticket there, especially if you think he's gonna do well here, and I think he will, just based off of past performance. I think he'll do well here. Plus 180 is a hell of a ticket on that.
Yep. So I think that's kind of my card right now.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm gonna be looking to see if I can get good prices on a Hemrick or Allmendinger ticket, depending on who the matchup is. But yeah, I think this is going to be. I think the like I said, the restarts are going to be crazy.
Yep.
You're going to spread out, and you might be able to go out and mow the lawn for a little bit, but you want to be there for the restarts.
All right, so I'm gonna fucking I see we got an over 7.5 cautions for this race. What do you think? Do you think that's in play?
It's probably a really good number. I think it's in play. I think the over's in play. It just really depends on how pissed off Hamlin and Logano are, right? I mean,
they're pissed.
Rick Ware Racing's good for at least a couple.
Somebody's gonna spin out at the back a couple times, I would assume. But had a lot of clean fucking races lately. Not a lot of fucking cautions lately. Gotta be due for a fucking little bit of a barn burner. I know we got fucking Daytona coming up, but
it'll be really interesting to see how the tires hold up. I know yesterday a couple drivers shredded tires front right. So
I love that.
I think 7.5's in play.
Okay.
Might throw a little bit on it.
Yeah, it's not a bad number. I think it's like -115 too. Really not a bad number. I think a little unit on that as well. All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it for us. We'll be doing this for the remainder of the season. Get in, get out, little quick pod here. But yeah, thanks for joining, and hope to see you guys next week. All right. See you guys.
So baby, listen carefully while I sing my comeback song.